So today we're going to do some literacy games. We're going to base this on the concentration game. So what I've done is I've printed out some pictures of some sea creatures and other things connected with my theme, which goes with my book. I've also printed out some words that correspond with the pictures and initial sounds for those words as well. And that's going to be our 3 different versions of this game. So our first step is to cut everything out. Obviously, if you haven't got a printer, don't worry about it. You can easily draw these pictures. Just draw a simple picture. You just need 2 matching pictures. Best to do them on card if you haven't got a laminator. So let's cut them out now. Okay, so we're on version 1 of our game, and this is simply matching the pairs of pictures. So I've laid all the pictures down, and then like a concentration game, you pick up 2 pictures and see if they match. I've done about 10 different pictures, so there are 20 cards altogether. You can obviously make this less to make it easier for the children, or you might want to do a few more to make it harder. So that obviously isn't a match, but these 2 cards here are a match. So what I would encourage the children to do is to say, yes, there are 2 fish there. So you could do counting skills, 1, 2. But you could also say, well, what sound does fish begin with? And see if they know. If they don't, it doesn't matter. You can tell them, you can go fish, fish, so that they get the idea of the sound that goes with the word. So that is your first version of this game. Obviously for younger children, nursery-based children, it's perfect. Okay, so for version 2 of this game, what we need is just 10 of our cards. So get rid of the doubles that you've got there, and instead we're going to use these cards with the initial letter sound for all our cards. Now I've done these in a different colour just to make it easier for the children, so they know they've got to pick up 1 picture and then 1 sound and then try and match them. Okay, so if it was coral, which this picture is, they would pick up a sound, say it was a sound k there. They would match the picture coral with the sound k, coral. So this is, again, probably start of reception age that we're looking at here, and a good way to reinforce what they're doing at school in a nice, fun way. So that's version 2 for you. Okay, so we're on version 3 of our game now, and this is where the children are getting a little bit better with their phonics at school. So they're, approaching mid to late reception, and they might be able to sound out some of these words. Not all of them, but they can give some of them a go, and you can obviously help them out as well. So if this one was taken, then they would look for that word, the word fish, and then you would get them to sound it out. If they couldn't find it, you just go back to your initial letter sound and say, well, what could it begin with? A f, f, f. And then you could help them to read that word out. Okay, so some of them are obviously easier than others. Mermaid is a difficult word, which they probably won't be able to read out at this stage. So obviously you would help and assist them with that word. Again, you would look for the initial letter sound and then just read it out to them. So this is meant to be fun. It's not meant to be too hard for them. So, just go with the flow with it. Don't sort of impose it too much. Just see how they get on. And if they're not managing, then just go back to the earlier version. So that's version 3. Okay, so our second game is a comprehension game. So this is going to be about our book, Dougal's Deep Sea Diary. And what I'm going to do is just go through the book and pick out certain points to include. So one of them might be, I've noticed on this page, this is his first dive. And it says in the book, my first dive of the week, it was beautiful. So many fishy friends swam up to see me. So what I'm going to do is write on my card how did Dougal feel on his first dive? And hopefully the children will be able to say, oh, he thought it was beautiful. So once we've read the book a few times, they might be able to remember that, they might not. So you might have to take them back to the point or the page where that question is. Okay, so here we've got all our questions, and what I would do is usually put them in a bag, and the child would pick out a question per session, 1 or 2, because you don't want to overload them and ask them loads of questions so that they then start to get a little bit bored by it. So I've got questions like, on Friday, what did Dougal find? What did he do to prepare for the interview? Who was Dougal interviewed by? On Wednesday, what did Dougal find? And how did Dougal feel on his first dive? So lots of different questions that get the kids thinking about what's actually happening in the book.